I'm live. I'm live on YouTube. I'm just testing this thing out here. And, I get to say something. Hello. There isn't really much to this. The reason I have this on is because I have, not yet showered hair. So I want to spare you the hair nightmare that is morning hair. Hey, Dawn. What's up, guys? Good morning. And this is what I do in the morning. I have my coffee in my certified, sanctified 2 Keto Dudes coffee mug. Hi, Don. Hi, Tanisha. What we're planning to do here is, thank you. What, this one? Nice mug? Or this one? What we're planning to do here is use a service that streams to all of these platforms all at the same time. It's called Restream. Yeah, time to fast. I'm fasting today too. My wife and I are both going to fast today. At least that's the idea. Hi, Anna from Georgia. What's up, Evan? So what we plan to do is I'm going to test through all of these different platforms: Periscope, YouTube Live, Twitch, which I've never done before. And once we get we've done Facebook Live once now. Once we get all 4 of these things working the way we want, we're going to use this Restream tool. And that will allow us to use I know it's technical, but there's an open source program called OBS, Open Broadcasting System. And we're going to use that to do these aggregated chat rooms across all of these live platforms. Let's see who's here. Hello from Wales, Spivvy21, Bob Hamilton. Have to up your hack game. Yeah, I know. This is, like I said, would you rather see this? I mean, this is like, I need a haircut. Today's haircut day. If you'd rather see this and you don't mind the wiry professor look, we gotta go back. All right, fine. I'll take the hat off. Just let my freak flag fly. Let's see. Hi, Rhett. Glad you're a longtime podcast listener. Ginger from Alabama, hello. Keto Ruby, hi, from New Jersey. Alabama, New Jersey. David, hi, Carl. You and Richard are awesome. Well, thanks. We went to awesome school. We passed with, adequate grades. Hi. Hey, Chris Lewis from Seattle. Good to see you. Good morning, Shannon from Virginia. I'm the one who put the smoked sausage on polenta you talked about in your March. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I remember that. Amy, I know this is weird, but I had Carl and Richard backwards till right now. Really? Oh, wow. You thought I was the Aussie guy, huh? All right. No, I'm not going to try to do that. I'm not going to do the Aussie accent. David Nielsen, hi from Minooka, Illinois. Hi, I hope I said that right. Minooka, looks right. London, Liz in London, hi. Keto Ruby, so confused about protein. Everyone says something else. I'm following Benjamin Bikeman and Ted Naiman. They say more protein. All right, we talked about this. We talked about this recently. I've been talking to Megan and Richard and Dr. Fung, and we all seem to agree that people with different body types need different amounts of protein. And if you just look at autophagy and the research that's been done on autophagy, it makes sense to me. And this was one of the first questions I had for Dr. Fung. Okay, you say we have a protein requirement, but then when you fast, there's no protein requirement. Okay, now who can't fast? People who have lower amounts of body fat, right? That's the number one rule. If you have 7% body fat or lower, you can't fast. And so where does all this protein come from? Well, it comes from autophagy. So if you're overweight and you have more than 7 pounds of body fat, your fat cells exist in a collagen matrix, and you also most likely have other junky proteins around. You stored food energy on your body, and there isn't any protein storage per se, but autophagy probably never got a chance to happen as much as it should have when you're overweight, right? So therefore, you have a lot of protein that can be recycled. And while it's not much, it seems to be enough. And Finney's thing was they said they measured lean body mass being recycled, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. If you have body fat and you have protein that can be recycled, it's probably low priority proteins like the organelles inside your white blood cells and things that are no longer of use. Makes sense that the body would prioritize to recycle those and not your good working muscle. So anyway, the protein requirements are low. I think protein requirements are lower for somebody with a large amount of body fat and higher for somebody who is lean and muscular and working out. Okay. So that makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you. Okay, so you guys, yep, right on the money. Hello, love the two keto dudes. All right, so getting back to the protein thing, when I was doing the Keto Mini Fest with Richard last weekend, Megan Ramos was taking questions, and the protein question is the very first one that comes up, and it just dawned on me that maybe we should be thinking of protein not as a requirement per kilogram of lean body mass. I mean, there is that. That's how much you need. But you have to offset that by how much is available for recycling. So it really should be based on, yes, the lean body mass, but also the amount of body fat. So if you have more body fat, you're going to need less protein. Does that make sense? So I think we need to rephrase the protein requirements, not just solely based on amount of lean body mass, but also body fat. Keto Ruby, I've lost 30 pounds on keto, have 40 more to go. I think I'm going to try higher protein, more moderate fat to burn my own body fat for fuel. What do you think? Okay. I don't know. In the context of what I just said, you might want to rethink that a little bit. Too much protein will rise insulin levels, which is never a good thing when trying to lose body fat. Evan says, yeah, right. And again, depending on how much body fat you have. Don, Carl, advice for the beginner adults learning to code. Awesome. Yeah. Pluralsight is a great resource for how-to videos on coding things. There are lots of free online places to learn how to write code. Probably JavaScript is where I'd start, but JavaScript is weird. JavaScript and C# are in my wheelhouse. All right, I don't want to take up the rest of it with that, but yeah, go to Pluralsight. Lots of good things there. Lindy, hello from Wales. I'm doing one meal a day mostly. I've installed for 2 months now. Have you got any ideas? Yep. Eat more fat. Eat less protein in your one meal a day. One of the things that I'm going to do on live is sort of document. I haven't been able to do my one meal a day pork belly thing for a while, and as I did my 2 meals a day, and my keto hedonism, which is my mode usually, I put on the pounds that I took off the last time. So, like I said, I've been gaining and losing, but when I do this and when I stick to it, it really, really works. So I'm going to be doing that again, and the idea is that I don't eat anything until 2 or 3 o'clock. And it's right at that point, 3 o'clock, where I have a big meal of mostly animal fat. So pork belly fills the role. because, in a slice of pork belly, you have this much fat and then that much meat, so it's kind of like the perfect ratio. And then I just find ways to make it, taste not boring every day. But the end result is that, first of all, it's delicious and I love it. And second of all, it doesn't take much before I get filled up, and I eat to the point of satiety and then a little bit after satiety. And just in that one meal a day, what that's going to do is lower my insulin, really satisfy my hunger. And then it seems as though the satiation goes on for hours and hours and hours into the evening. And that's great because evening eating is my worst problem, right? When I eat after, say, 6 or 7, that's when all the work that I did during the day sort of gets reversed. Keto Ruby, how much protein is too much? You'd really just have to test it yourself. If you say you have like 40 pounds to go, so that's safe. And if you have extra, skin, one of the things that Megan says is that her fasting patients don't have loose skin. That kind of is a really good rah-rah for autophagy and how you get protein when you're not eating. So try cutting it down to 50 grams or 60 grams or something like that, and see if you have better results. And if you feel sick, then eat more. Hi, Birdie from Alabama. What about Bikeman said that protein doesn't raise insulin much and required for ketones as well as fat? Like, it totally depends. And I think that's what I'm saying here, is that these aren't hard, fast rules for everybody. Evan says, Carl, do you think as a keto community we don't talk enough about the negative effects that artificial sweeteners have when doing keto? You see so many people drinking diet drinks that have these. Yeah, it's true. And I can only go by my personal experience. I cut out all the artificial sweeteners a long time ago. Every once in a while, if I'm going to have something sweet, I'll use allulose was my sort of sweetener of the day recently, but xylitol seems to work really well for me. But I don't generally drink diet soda, don't drink sweetened drinks at all. I think that's not good for me. Megan and Jason say also that when they're talking to their patients and figuring out what the problems are, if somebody is stalled in fasting and not losing any weight, generally the next step is to cut out artificial sweeteners, and stevia seems to be a particularly popular one. And she says that it always works. Cut out the artificial sweeteners and you get through a stall. And timed eating windows, right? So yes, I agree. We did a whole show on sweeteners back when we were, back when I was anyway, all into the desserts, the keto desserts, not so much anymore. Good morning, Cindy Brown. And Frost Chili 7, what happened? I'm not sure what you mean there. Dude, I saw you on Pornhub. Ghost Tom Studio. I have no idea what that is or what that means. Brett S, have you considered trying going full carnivore? Well, like I said, the experiment that works for me is to eat one meal a day that's just animal fat. Just animal carnivore, basically. So yes, I have, and that really, really works well. So I don't know if you saw, but we did a Q&A session with Megan Ramos for the Obesity Code podcast this week, and we've got 3 or 4 more guests in the queue, so you'll see a steady stream of those. What are your thoughts on net carbs? I do 25 net as Keto Gains recommends. Is that too much? I can't tell you for you, but it is for me. So I try to get as few carbs as possible. And if I'm going to have carbs, generally it's a couple glasses of red wine. Tell you the truth, that's my those are my carbs, and I'm always under 20 usually. Ghost Tom Studio, how many Big Macs did you eat? I kind of have the feeling that you are a troll, so I'm going to completely ignore you, Ghost Tom Studio. Sorry. Yeah, well, this is fun. I didn't know anybody was going to show up, actually, because I just mentioned that we're on YouTube Live. We have some subscribers on YouTube. I'm not sure that I'm not sure how this magic works, really. So, hello from the UK, Carmen. Yes, I do plan on getting a haircut today. Anything that you want us to cover more? I mean, somebody said artificial sweeteners, but are there any suggestions that you guys have, maybe for Facebook Live things? I can tell you what I'm interested in doing in Facebook Live while you're thinking about that. I have this solution that allows me to test the sugar content of food, and I'm going to set it up. I'm going to show you how to get it. Right? You can get it on Amazon. It's called Benedict's Qualitative Solution. I haven't used it yet, but essentially the idea is you take some food, wine, sauce, anything, and you mix it up in water, and you put a couple of drops of this solution in, and you heat it, boil it for 4 minutes, and it turns a certain color. And based on that color, it's like the whole spectrum of the rainbow. And based on the color, you can tell how much sugar is in it. But there isn't a legend, you sort of eyeball it. So what I'm going to do is take different amounts of sugar dissolved in water, and then fructose dissolved in water, and then glucose dissolved in water. And based on the amounts, I'm going to get the colors of each of those and document them. And once I do that, I'll make a YouTube video on that. And then once I do that, we'll start testing wines, foods, sodas, things that, sodas don't have any, diet sodas don't have any glucose or anything, but, foods that you thought, hey, how much sugar does this really have? Because you really can't go by the labels. Labels are so misleading. Advice on getting your spouse to join you on keto. She's a type 2 since pregnancy. John, all I can say is be the change. After a while, when she's going to the doctor and you're not, and you're feeling great and she's not, she's going to want some of what you have. Every time I go a couple weeks keto, I end up having a carb binge. Yeah, Don, it happens. It happened to me. And the only advice I can tell you is get right back on the horse. We tend to think, oh, I screwed up, I might as well screw up royally. But that's it. Just get right back on the horse. The next day, bacon and eggs. All right. And if you're going to binge, just do it all within a small amount of time. And then the next day, bacon and eggs. Get right back on the horse. Bulletproof coffee, whatever, coffee with cream. And my coffee is black. So you can almost see if I don't pour it out. No, I guess you can't see. My coffee's black. Here we go. I don't have any cream in my coffee today. Love the videos. Hello from Canada. You guys have helped me so much that now most of my family is trying out keto. Amy, that's great. That's great. How often will you be doing live chats? I hope to be doing them at least a couple times a week, maybe every day. I'm not sure. I mean, if you're getting anything out of this, I'll do my morning coffee with you guys. That works fine for me. Shannon, have a good one. I'm trying intermittent fasting. Keto Ruby says, a challenge for me. I have 4 kids in school. I have 4 kids, a school teacher, and it's hard for me. I'm trying 2 meals a day. Neiman says after 12 hours, your last meal when you begin. I mean, just keep at it. It gets easier. All I can say is not to give up. Just keep trying. Get to fat adapted, and once you get there, everything changes. Everything changes. Just gets so much easier. Evan says, my biggest concern for those doing keto is they're always trying to find a replacement for the sweets they enjoy for a keto-friendly version, but most of these are just as bad. Not just as bad, all right? Yeah, some of these sweeteners do raise insulin, anecdotally, anyway. But it's kind of a crutch, to get to that fat adapted place where you just don't care about sweets anymore, and you'll get there. So I say, you know, knock yourself out. Have the chocolate mousse. It's going to be better than eating sugar, and you will get to fat adapted, which is the goal. Spivvy 21. I have tested all my regular staple keto foods for the effects on my blood ketones. Then I know they are safe to eat. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I started this idea about testing food for wine because it's so hard to know what the sugar content of wine is. They don't put that on the label. Some wines can taste sweet, but they're not sugary according to their labels. But I want to know for sure. So I started with a hydrometer, and I'm not quite sure how to read that. And I'm going to use this qualitative solution to test different wines. So you may see an entire series on YouTube about that. Also, I'm going to be going down to RD86 and cooking with Chef Robert live. So you're going to see some live cooking demonstrations down there at least once a week. And Richard Morris, also is going to try to use the kitchen at the National Press Club in Australia to do the same. So hopefully we'll be doing that. Ann Parker, hi from Georgia. You're talking about Georgia in, former. Okay, chocolate mousse. Oh my God, what's the best wine to get? So this is a great question. Really dry champagnes are perhaps the lowest in carbs. The conventional wisdom says Pinot Noir is the lowest sugar wine you can get over, in a store. But I don't know that for sure. That's why I have to test. Yeah, Pinot Noir. Voodoo Queen. I've been keto since August 2016. I've been adding fasting more often. 4872 or alternate date. This week I had a friend approach me to say she's afraid I'm developing an eating disorder. Yeah, well, I hope based on science and experience that fasting and intermittent fasting is not an eating disorder. It's the natural way that we have lived for millions of years. I think, and to qualify for an eating disorder, you have to eat crap. Just saying. I think when I find my sweet spot of protein and fat, this is when the magic will happen. I totally agree, Keto Ruby. And that's why I would start with, something like pork belly, if you can eat pork. Some people can't. Other than that, you can just add melted butter to everything. I like to poach burgers in butter, but make smaller burgers and put bacon on them. And I have a hamburger sauce that I made from a bunch of different things, sour cream and mayonnaise and olive oil and spices and, that kind of thing. A little sugar-free ketchup went in there, some Dijon mustard, garlic, and, I slather that on burgers. Let's see. Wish more people were educated on keto and fasting. Yeah, that's why we're here. 7 months on keto and going strong. No cheating and doing at least 18 hours IF a day. Life-changing. Great. Let's see. Having the same issue with my girlfriends. They just don't get it. Yeah. Do you do extended fasts still? How often? I haven't done an extended fast in a while. And, like Megan says, it's not really necessary. I mean, if you want autophagy, I guess three-day fasts seem to be really good. So doing a 3-day fast every week is probably going to get you where you want to go. But I still toy with the idea of doing a long one. Burgers with mustard mayo, yum. Yeah, like make a sauce, you know? I'm all about the sauce. Michael Cunningham, if it hadn't been for fasting, I wouldn't have known about keto. They go hand in hand. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Oh, yes, the hydrometer is a pain. Let us know how it goes. And yes, Atlanta type Georgia. I just got off a 3-day fast and had MCT to my salad. Wish I'd already seen Megan's advice. Disaster pants? How long did it take me to start fasting comfortably? Wow, I don't know. If you go back to Two Keto Dudes and look at the archives, the first time we interviewed Jason Fung, it was after that I tried, a 1-day fast, and it was a little challenging at first, but I just kept doing it 1 day, 2 day, and after a while, it was like falling off a bicycle. It's not my favorite meat, but my body responds well to pork. Yeah, I'm with you. Lamb is also good. Lamb is something that humans have been eating for thousands of years, and it's fatty and it tastes really good. And slow cooking it makes it wonderful. I post on Instagram every day and I make YouTube videos, so I'm exposing myself to criticism, but it's worth it if other people can learn about keto and fasting. I totally agree. I mean, you can't do social media without being criticized by somebody, so that's fine. Whatever. My first fast was 3 days, then I crashed and burned. I have since been able to fast up to 8 days, trying for 30. Wow. Well done. Well done. Hey, I'm going to show you this Benedict solution. Let me go get it, okay? And you can see what it looks like. I hope the image isn't backwards. That happens with these things sometimes. Like I said, I haven't used it before, but I went online and looked at the procedure for doing it, and it looks pretty simple. It doesn't look like you need to have exact amounts. It will just figure out the the amount of sugar in a food and turn a different color. So like I said, I'm going to do a test starting with a really large amount of sugar, like 2 tablespoons of sugar per cup of water, and then put in a couple drops of Benedict's solution, boil it, see what it turns, the color it turns, and then log that, make a document. And based on that, you can figure out grams of carbohydrate per color, right? So I'm going to then pare it down and pare it down and pare it down until it doesn't turn any color. And then I'll have, at least for table sugar, I'll have a legend, and I'll do the same for pure glucose and pure fructose. So I'm looking forward to that, but it's going to be a little bit of work. Liz Ward, I have to stop proselytizing in the staff kitchen. I'm getting a name for myself. Yeah, it does happen, doesn't it? I mean, just like I say, just let your body be your salesperson. I mean, not salesperson, but you know what I mean? I mean, just be the change. People will come to you. People have come to me and said, "What did you do?" Thanks, man, for all the time and energy put into everything keto and fasting related. Started keto in January, and your podcast was there as my support system in a world with no other keto savvy folks. I totally get it, Tyson. Thank you very much, and it's been a real pleasure, and it continues to be. I feel amazingly blessed and Richard does too, to be able to do this work. And sometimes all it takes is somebody to come around and say, "Hey, you know what? You're not going to die. This is good. Do it. We did it. You can too." Yep. Do you like the keto urine strips? Everyone says they're rubbish, but I think they're awesome. Let me take a sip of coffee before I answer this. Keto urine strips measure one type of ketone body, and there are three: acetoacetate, acetone, and beta hydroxybutyrate. Acetoacetate is the very first ketone body uh, that your body creates when you're burning fat. And the urine strips will quickly go dark when you get into ketosis because it's measuring acetoacetate. As you get more fat adapted, that gets transmogrified into beta hydroxybutyrate, which the P strips do not pick up. All right. So that's why it gets lighter and lighter as you get more and more fat adapted. So yeah, they're good to know that you're in ketosis at first, and they become less and less useful. And so the better thing to do is to get a blood meter, like the Freestyle Optimum Neo or whatever. You can get them on Amazon, and it takes blood glucose, and it also takes ketone strips, and that measures beta hydroxybutyrate in your blood. So that's a more accurate measure of ketosis once you, excuse me, once those urine strips become useless, and they will. Tyson Martin, here's to Keto Fest. It will keep me on the path until that day. Heck yeah, it's gonna be amazing. And says, I love the food and recipes you and Richard share, and the enthusiasm is so contagious. It's not a feeling of being deprived at all once you get the hang of this type of cooking. I totally agree. Michael says, I'm 5'5", and I was 315 till I started keto and fasting. 28 weeks now, and I've lost 96 pounds. This needs to be taught in schools. I totally agree. It's like people are insane, aren't they? Yep. Agree, Evan. Urine strips are good for about the first month, just to let you know you're on the right path. Hi, Grigala. Hi. How are you? All right, I'm going to end the stream, and maybe I'll speak to you guys tomorrow morning. I'll let you know. But as I said, I'm testing out all these other streams. All right, take care, guys. Have a good one. Keep calm and keto on.